In this video I will be wire wrapping a palm stone. At the end of the video I will also be demonstrating how I make coiled ends for my necklaces. A palm stone is a stone that has been cut and polished to fit perfectly in the hand. For this design, use a symmetrical stone. You can also use a cabochon for this design, but palm stones are cheaper. I have 3 base wires. Start by marking the centre of the wires. Find the centre of the weaving wire. Start wrapping at the marks on the base wires. Wrap the middle of the weaving wire twice around the first 2 base wires. Add the 3rd wire above the other 2 and wrap twice around the 2 upper wires. Wrap twice around the 2 lower wires. Wrap twice around the 2 upper wires. Repeat this pattern. At regular intervals, rotate the wires and weave from the other end. This will keep the weave centralised on the base wires. Weave until the pattern is 1 inch long. Gently bend the woven area, bringing the unwoven wires together. Slightly bend the unwoven wires outwards until they are sitting parallel and next to each other. Now use the weaving wire to weave all the wires together. I am not using any particular pattern here. I just start by wrapping twice around both the inner wires and then continue in the same pattern as previous on both sides, before wrapping twice around the two inner wires again and then continuing the pattern. Finish by bringing both weaving wires through to the front and cut off the excess. This part of the weave will be against the stone and any snagging ends will be safely hidden. Turn the wires over so that what was the front will be against the back of the stone. Position the wires so that just over half of the loop is visible above the top of the stone. Mark the wires approximately 1/4 inch from the bottom of the stone. Get another length of your preferred weaving wire and find the centre. Wrap the middle of the weaving wire twice around the two inner base wires where they are marked. Use both ends of the weaving wire to wrap all the wires together in any pattern, just like previous. Wrap the wires together for approximately 1/4 inch. Gently pull apart the bare wires between the woven areas. Below the bottom weave, separate the wires into 2 pairs of 3. Weave the 2 pairs separately in the same way as the first weaving pattern. Weave for ½ inch. I am using some painter's tape to hold the wires in position for the next part of the wrap. Ensure that the wires are running along the middle of the stone. Bend the woven wires over the bottom of the stone. Extend the weaves up to approximately 1/4 of the way up the stone. Bend the outer wires outwards. Wrap the remaining wires. Wrap twice around the outer of the 2 wires, then wrap twice around both wires and repeat the pattern. Wrap for approximately ½ inch or around halfway up the stone. Finish the weaving wires by wrapping twice around both wires and then down between the base wires. Wrap once around one of the wires, finishing with the weaving wire between the base wires with the end against the stone. Remove the excess weaving wires. Bend the outer wires outwards. Take the inner wire and thread it through the loop above the stone. Wrap the wire around the base of the loop. Trim the wires, leaving a small amount of excess to bend over the front of the loop. Take the lower wires and bend them over the side of the stone and to the back of the pendant. Where the wires meet the outer of the back wires, bend them downwards. I am just slightly lifting the outer of the back wires to make it easier to thread a weaving wire underneath. Take a small piece of weaving wire to wrap the wires together. This is a good way of using offcuts from other projects. Wrap a few times around the loose wire, then wrap a few times around both wires, and then wrap a few more times around the loose wire. Trim the base wire shorter and use round nose pliers to make a loop in the cut end. Now I am going to gently remove the tape. Bend the remaining wires over the edge of the stone and repeat the process we used for the lower wires. Use one of the offcuts of base wire to make a jump ring for your pendant. Cut one side with the flat side of your flush cutters and then turn the wire around and cut the other sides using the same side of your cutters, so that you have flat surfaces on both sides of your ring and a nice closure. To make ends for your cord, find something round the same diameter as your cord. I am using this small screwdriver. Take your length of 20 gauge wire and wrap it approximately 8 times around. Cut off the excess wire. On one end I am bending the top loop upwards with the cut end inside the coil. Place the cord inside the coil. Squeeze the other cut end tightly against the cord. Apply the tug test to make sure the end is secured. Now you can add the findings of your choice. Thank you for viewing. If you found this video useful, please leave a like and consider subscribing for more videos.